All right, if we could call the Board of Trustees of the Village of Weston to order. And if we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all so much. Last one, Mr. Feeney. Let's see if we could do a roll call.
Money,
Here.
Emily, Cronin,
Here.
Pincinel,
Here.
Hardinger, Wyland, Zagami.
Here. Okay. And number 4, we have the pleasure, well, not the pleasure, kind of the sadness, but also honoring an outgoing board member, trustee Nate Feeney. And we want to. I can see right below all the glasses, so.
Well, Nate,
We
it's
have
a
a little
good
presentation here.
step forward on
Yep.
that. We should go.
Why don't we scoot over here? Let's make Yi work a little bit for this photo.
I think that's a perfect place.
Right up here? Yeah. Right in front of the board. How's that? Looks great. No touchy feely.
No.
Okay.
Well, so
So, yeah, go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and I guess, I'd like to acknowledge our board member service as they, I guess, depart from their duties, and certainly appreciate everything you've done. It's certainly a sacrifice of time, and certainly is helpful to the village. We've put this plaque or this recognition award together for you.
Thank you.
If you'd like to have, I could read it for you if you like.
Sure. Yeah.
Just on behalf of the residents of the village of Weston and the Board of Trustees, thank you for your many years of service to the village. Many hours you have devoted in your service to the village represent a sacrifice in your personal life, which few people are willing to make. Your service is deeply appreciated. Wish you the best in your future pursuits. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nate. Thank you. There is absolutely nobody. Yep. That has pounded the pavement like Nate did. I know on your first term you did a lot, but the second term was even more. And I mean, you really pounded the pavement. I heard a lot of people going, you know, who's this guy? Should I vote for him and everything? So, but no, good job. So thank you. And just as Keith said, you know, thank you very much for your service. So awesome. You want another photo?
Yes.
What, shaking hands? Yeah.
Hold
Hold
the
that out.
certificate. All right.
Yep, there we go. Okay. Good. One more. Any more? John? Bueller? John, you want one for, you know, future? Okay, good job. Thank you very much. All right. Oh, that was nice. Nice. Oh, no quote? Hey, no quote? You don't have no, you know,
Well, you know, if this is really an
Oh my God.
invitation.
oh my God, hold it. Let me get my gavel. Thank you very much, Nate. Thank you. Reach out if you need something, or if you want to jump on a committee, you can't be with Yi. You gotta be on a different committee other than Yi.
Well, we're the dynamic duo.
Yeah, you guys
Goes
talk
together,
all the time.
follows.
Constantly had to hit the gavel, so no, I'm just teasing, so. Good stuff, thank you. All right, so that's the fun stuff. Public comments. Any public comments tonight? Anybody on Zoom or Nextdoor or Facebook or Wi-Fi or any of that stuff? No? TikTok, TikTok. Anybody on there? Anybody have a TikTok? No? So no TikTok, all right. So hearing no public comments for the third time, public comments, hearing none. Move on to 5 and 6, minutes from previous meetings, approval of the 3/2023 Board of Trustees meeting and approval of the 3/23/23 Special Board of Trustees meeting.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Cronin, second by Ermeling, and a very quick third there by Zagami. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Acknowledge reports, minutes from boards, committees, and commissions. Don't rush at this.
Well, I'll move to acknowledge 7, 11, 12, 14, 15, and 16.
Motion to acknowledge by Ermeling,
Second.
second by Wyland. Any more on the discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It goes on the next page.
No, that's reports.
Okay, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. Even though they're not blued, we're saving on ink tonight or color? 'Cause,
Oh, you mean on the paper ones?
that blue is a big deal for me,
Oh.
but I can handle the gray. Let's see, reports from departments. Let's see, number 20, clerk.
I think we go to
That was on
19.
purpose, I know. Trying to save us, in the effort of time, I was, no, go ahead. Go ahead, Keith. Let's see.
We have on the agenda later, or at the end, an option, I guess, we'd like to take a tour of the building this evening. If an open house, I guess, thought is that we just have it more like a self-guided type thing. Have a presentation that we've used for the optimists and kind of run that like every half hour or so, every 45 minutes. Kind of loop through. Thought was maybe having, say, Mort do a recorded presentation or something like that, kind of a lead in or something on that order. Unless you prefer a, some kind of a live presentation. I know we talked a little bit about that, a ribbon cutting. So I got a sense that we didn't want to do that. No.
I don't know, it's up to everybody here, and I guess staff too.
I was gonna ask because I wanted to make sure you're here for
Yeah.
the very beginning.
So,
It makes sense to have it in like, I don't know, 20-minute staggered deals and you just set aside a group of
well,
20 people or how many is there and just walk people through in groups of.
that was my thought too. Are we gonna have like a little meeting or a little, huddle up and we have little stations where, people are stationed? I mean, just to monitor the building on top,
Right, well, that was,
So-
probably have people in stations, as people go through, they get a little bit of a summary of what happens at those places.
I was just wondering if about the ribbon cutting, though, if we were gonna
Yeah.
do that in the very beginning.
Oh, I think people will probably expect it.
I think a ribbon cutting is a good idea.
Yeah, I do too.
Good PR opportunity.
So, everybody else okay
So
with
that
that?
would be at 10 o'clock, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so we're good? Okay. Ribbon cutting?
Yeah,
At 10.
Hmm?
At 10 o'clock.
At 10 o'clock, a couple minutes too or something. We're not gonna have any like bags like always did, right? For the first
Oh,
hour or
darn.
something, yeah?
No,
Any swag bags or anything? No.
probably relying on West Davis Wholesale to provide some,
I can bring goodies, so
some,
tell me what you want, I'll bring goodies. So,
all right.
okay,
I guess I got confirmation here that our follow-up meeting for the public safety building will be on Tuesday, the 25th from 4 to 6. So I'll get notice out about that. Seems to be the time that we get the most people there. We have a representative from Ambrose here tonight for discussing Project Timberwolf. That'll be in closed session later. And REI did begin their asbestos survey at the facility today, I understand.
they did the process?
Yeah,
or-
yes, I don't know if it's gonna, I had the impression it was gonna take them several days, but and they may not be able to finish everything because we still have some people working out of the utility lab there for the time being until that area's finished. Should be wrapping it up towards the end of the month from the way it sounds.
Okay. All right, any questions or anything for the administrator? No. Moving on to 20. Pam?
Just a couple of things. First of all, in the election, there's going to be a meeting on Thursday night for the municipal court because there was a little issue with the election with the one of the municipalities. The race was not on the ballot, so we have to decide what we're going to do. Or they're going to decide what we're going to do, how we're going to move forward with the municipal court judge. So there's a meeting on Thursday at 5 about that. The second thing is the league is putting on a kind of a 101 type program for elected officials. If you wanted to brush up on stuff, what you're responsible for, things like that. I know I mentioned it to Jim with him being the new board member. So there's dates of in-person and you can also do it on a webinar. And I did follow up, Jim, and you can get it on a flash drive that you can watch at any time. So I can, if anybody else is interested, let me know. But otherwise, I know Jim was going to sign up for it, I believe. So
If you could send that out, can you send that out to the whole board?
I can.
Thank you.
Any more questions of Pam? Finance.
The other thing I want to add is that our auditors are Kerber Rose. So if you get a call, usually during their audit process, they may reach out to some board members. So if you get a call from Kerber Rose, it's not a scam, it's our auditors and please answer their questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Fire and EMS, chief.
I have a report in the packet, and then I just have two quick calls that I want to discuss here real quick. It'll just take a minute, but we had a employee at one of the businesses in the village that suffered a cardiac arrest here about 2 to 3 weeks ago. I did talk to John before the meeting here. I didn't get a chance to talk to Clay yet, but EMPD got there before we did, started CPR on this individual. Our guys got there and resuscitated her, and within a few days, she was discharged from the hospital. She walked out of the hospital with a successful outcome. So that call, and then as I assume most or all of you are aware that there's a bridge out or a culvert that washed out on Highway KK. There's a very small part of the town of Mosinee that is on our side of Highway KK. So we worked with the fire chief from Mosinee and said, do you want us to cover that small section until the road is fixed? Because otherwise they have to come all the way around. It'll take forever to get there. Well, within about 72 hours of that, we had 2 calls in that little tiny area. One for a grass fire, but then another one for a structure fire at about 4 o'clock in the morning last week. And Station 1 in Rib Mountain was actually out of an ambulance call. So there was only one person there, but that one person, and then DC Lang responded from home. He lives over that way, but they were able to knock that fire down and kept it in the room of origin. So if it wouldn't have been for them being able to respond, there's no question that house would have burned down. So 2 pretty significant events within a couple week span that some people did some pretty good actions on. So, but other than that, unless anybody has any questions, that's all I have.
How about an ETA on that washout? I went and looked at it. It's
June.
June ugly.
June. Yeah. Their original plan was to replace the culvert in June anyway, and the county said they're gonna stick to the plan. So,
and I also noticed there's no detours. Just, that's phenomenal. Yeah, no detours. Wow. So, it's a heck of a long way back. Either way,
it's a long way around.
They are warning you, pretty quickly, but you just, I guess you'd expect it to be pretty wild when you see it. It's gonna get worse and worse and worse. All right, thank you. Park and Rec.
I did have a report in the packet. I touched on it that swim lesson registration for Weston residents started yesterday. And of course, that first day is always pretty strong on people signing up. We had one of the classes fill up already. We also have been receiving park reservations pretty readily. Really all I have to do to add to my report.
What are our studies? The park.
Yeah, I touched on those in my report too. So we had our kickoff meeting with Brettler. We did send over the survey questions to them. Also gave them some other information like our previous corp, both of those, so they can follow kind of the same format that we previously used. So we're working with them, pretty readily on moving these things forward.
All right, any questions? None? Police, John.
Going through the hiring process, trying to get through that. We have 5 vacancies. We have 2 offers out to 2 candidates that are going through recruit school that we're sponsoring. And next week we're sending 4 to police and fire.
Yep. I don't think I've ever heard that. Honestly, as long as I've been on this board in the different times, I don't think I've ever heard that we've been that vacant, other than threes and stuff. Wow.
So we got some good candidates, so hopefully get them going.
All right, thank you. Any questions?
Is there anything we can do to help you with that staffing level, or it just is what it is?
I think last week we had a good week finally with the recruiting we've been doing, so it's looking pretty good right now.
I think the commission is, they're looking at some different avenues on, if they're in school or, some different ways of locking them in and securing them a little earlier, and some incentives and things. So
Yeah, we're sponsoring 2 of them that we have never done before through a recruit academy, so something different we're doing.
I have one thing I'd like to add. Is there a reason that at Weston Elementary, they're stacking up out on Camp Phillips again with cars? I've noticed it a couple times.
I actually got a few calls on that.
We've not got any complaints.
Yeah, well, you don't need to get a complaint, but let me tell you, it is dangerous. And they're,
On Camp Phillips now
they're
again?
backed up to the south, past the intersection. And yesterday, there was 5 cars on the other block to the south.
For drop off and pickup?
Yeah, they're,
and you
they're
got
using that
signs
circle
there.
drive again. I thought that the reason they redesigned that was to go on Sternberg.
We gotta have some attention there, probably, I don't know, 2:30, 2:45. It is really dangerous because when you come off of that intersection going north, you know, you're both kind of clipping along and in the right lane, you wanna miss that manhole. Cause you almost get sucked into the curb. If you hit that, then all of a sudden there's cars sitting there looking at you. I'm stunned to see that. I just can't believe it.
Yeah, I thought.
And there's 2 signs that are, you know, no parking, no stalling and, you know, but one is kind of tipped over. And Michael, do we have more yellow coming there?
Yeah, and there's also a Safe Roads to School plan that Weston Elementary is working on. I think Clay is part of that and the school. So
We talked about yellow in the very beginning.
yeah, we have the signs and now that the ground's unthawed, we get that
Okay, all right, yeah, we gotta get.
installed.
Do
Yeah,
we have anything flashing?
yeah, so it'll be flashing.
All right, and that's some kind of canopy that goes over or something or whatever?
It doesn't go over, but it
Okay, but at least it draws.
flashing in the next to the sidewalk, yeah.
Yeah, that has to come off. It's like 45 minutes. I just can't believe it. I'd hate to be the last car,
Yeah.
you know, so.
I'd gotten some complaints from some of the residents on Sternberg because people would park them in. So I contacted the school district about having drop off come from Timber and then they can use Sternberg going that way because there's no houses on any of that school property. And I know other elementary schools do something similar where then, you know, they have pickup tags where the first 10, 15 kids in line, you know, they get escorted to their car. And then, you know, the cars move up, so everybody's picking up in front of the school and we're not.
Certain times, if you go up by the middle school too, they're stretched down, you know, on Ross, right? No, Schofield Avenue.
Yeah.
I mean,
Avenue.
right in front of County Concrete, you know, and you know, it's a little bit wider there, but is there sidewalk on the south side of that huge field? Or not on Sternberg? Is there sidewalk?
Yeah, there's sidewalk on Sternberg.
I mean, I was just thinking, my God, maybe we do a curb cut and tuck 20 cars in there. Because I think the intention is they're supposed to be on that blacktop, that new blacktop area, and they're supposed to pick up the kids there.
Yeah.
But somehow it's been happening for over a month, probably 6 weeks at least. So.
Yeah, we'll give it some attention.
I think so.
Thank you.
Yeah, very much so. Thank you.
I just don't want to see a kid get hit.
Yeah, well, or a couple cars get rear-ended too, you know, the kid, you don't really see the kids, they're all getting in cars, but it's just dangerous, very dangerous. Public Works, Michael, you've been talking all night.
Do you want to go to plan?
Yeah, you missed me.
Oh, sorry. God, Jen, you should say something, you know, throw something at me. Jen from planning, I'm sorry, 24.
All right, I was just gonna
Well, it's not
tie.
blued out, that's part of the problem. All right.
It's glued out on mine,
Not
but-
mine. Well, yeah, on the here, but I'm looking at my sheet, I check it off.
Oh,
Sorry.
just to tie in with what Sean said, we are gonna be piggybacking on the court plan with the updates to the future land use map, the transportation section, and the building section of the comprehensive plan. So that's gonna happen with plan commission, kind of the same time frame as him. Hopefully they'll all get adopted towards the end of the year. That was his plan. We'll see some of that coming.
Exciting stuff happening. Lots of stuff. So they'll get me back in order here. So 27 technology. I'm just teasing. Go ahead, Mike.
So the Northwestern Ave project sounds like it'll be the week of May 22nd is American Asphalt's plan to do all the pulverizing the existing road and regrading and repaving all within that Monday through Friday week. So really it should be 1 week of disturbance and then the road will be open during the summer.
Okay.
So and then I guess the other item of note that isn't included in.
How wide you gonna make that road based on that request? For the bicycle path?
Yeah, so it'll have a 5-foot paved shoulder. And I think it ends up being 32 feet of pavement. So
Much increase in the cost?
that's how it was bid originally.
Or was it?
Yeah,
What's the existing width?
it's I think it's 28 feet. I think we're getting 2 feet. Essentially, we're going from a 3-foot shoulder to a 1-foot shoulder. as part of how that grant program worked with the DOT, we couldn't change the shoulder points. So we had to just maximize the existing footprint of the roadway. So it'll be, I believe it's 32 feet. And then with 1 foot shoulders instead of 28 feet with 3 foot shoulders. Math makes sense. And then one other item is we do have a meeting with the DOT tomorrow, kind of as a follow-up for Business 51. They'll be here, I think that's at 9 o'clock. So.
Thank you. IT, Nate?
Obviously, we got the new system here tonight. They have a couple things to come back and follow up on. Don't get too used to that mic. There's a different one coming for that desk. Typically, those two would be on the desk here. But other than that, I guess I don't really have anything to follow. They are coming up with the Kennedy Park project here in the next week or two to get that installed as well. So
Should be interesting. So we're not gonna actually physically have mics here. You're just teasing me with this tonight?
no, you'll have one,
Okay.
and there'll be two here, and then we have one in the back, the handheld that can go around, and then we also have a lapel one. We have a presentation.
Okay, thank you. I just want to dovetail a little bit into Pam, when you were talking about the courts. We did get a letter from Judge Wyrock, Chris, and she did offer her services for another year. So she, she would continue this for only 1 year. If we can't find somebody, we're getting in a bind. And it's a big offer because we don't want to lose that. That's a big deal for the city of Schofield and the town of Weston and the village of Weston. So I sent that email to Pam and to Keith and to Mayor Craig and Milt and Shane Vanderwall. So I think we at least have some, some protection there. Anything else? We're good? You?
Just to kind
I
of.
mean, Keith? You?
I know you.
Yeah.
With respect to the agenda tonight, Kristen Fish Peterson is unable to be here in person tonight because she has a obligation at the city of McFarland or village of McFarland, whatever it may be, at 7:30. So I guess with respect to her involvement in the first item on closed session, which is the Project Timberwolf, I don't know if we get to a point on a time here with the agenda.
We're gonna make it.
You want to convene the closed session a little early, but
We're gonna make it.
okay, just to keep that in mind. All right, thank you.
I'm gonna use this gavel, but we're gonna make it. All right. So work product incidentals, acknowledge March building permits and acknowledge March building status, 28-29. What's your pleasure?
Move to acknowledge 28 and 29.
Acknowledged by Cronin, geez. I'm sure you have it, like Maloney baloney, yeah. And you have a second?
Second.
Second by Hardinger. So we have a motion and a second. Any more in discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Consent agenda. Let's see, what is your pleasure?
Motion to approve 31 through 36.
Motion by Ermeling to approve 31 through 36. Second by Wyland. Anything on the discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Ordinances 38, ordinance number 23-008. An ordinance to amend procedural requirements within the PD plan development and N neighborhood zoning districts.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Cronin,
Second.
second by Pincinel. Anything on the discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Note that that is the first motion by Pincinel. Start, good job. You did that really well. 39, ordinance number 23-009. An ordinance to approve the rezoning of a 40-foot strip of land at 2305 Cutoff Road from 2F, two-family residential, to B2 Highway Business Zoning District, Village of Weston, Marathon County, Wisconsin. What's your pleasure? Motion approved by Cronin.
Second.
Second by Hardinger. On the discussion.
Do we have to say something that the planning commission recommended that it go back to them for the site plan? That happened here?
Not on this one. But it's going to happen.
Yeah, the planning commission asked for it. I suppose
Yeah.
we could say that if you want.
Yeah.
It's in their minutes too, so we'll bring it back.
So you want to amend?
I think it was in the minutes. I don't think we need to.
It's in the
I
minutes.
think
I know.
planning's aware that it needs to come back, so.
Okay. Right. Sometimes you would say, motion to approve per planning, something like that too. We could do that in the future,
If you want to make an amendment to my motion, go for it.
We're good. If it's all understood.
But I'm good if you're good.
Okay. Any more in discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Number 40, ordinance number 23-00010. An ordinance to amend Article 18-1X mobile food vendors. Motion to approve by Wyland.
Second.
Second by Cronin. You had something to say?
Sneezing.
Okay. Hearing nothing. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Resolutions, none. Unfinished business. Update and possible action on American Rescue Plan, ARPA funds. That's just a holding place. It's a placeholder. In case we want to talk about it, it's just kind of like the attorney referrals. 42, discussion and or action on public safety building project budget, project scope. Lister. I think,
Yeah, go ahead.
well, I think what the committee, the ad hoc committee wants is some direction, maybe a dollar figure that we all agree on, that we can put it back towards that committee. And right now it's sitting at some bids of, 575 to 600,000. I think the committee, I sat in on part of it, had a little change of direction, and we've got several here on this. So if you guys want to talk about it, or Keith, if you want to chat.
Well, I guess I was just gonna say the exterior of the building is what has now been bid on 2 occasions, and the price obviously is gonna be $500,000 to $600,000 for the architectural metal panels that the board liked the look of last summer or last spring even, and I guess obviously we're not gonna be able to build that look for that. Probably a lot lower price. We can certainly look into it further.
I think I heard a little change. I came here that after a safer meeting, and I just kind of stood before the sun went down, looking at the building, and I gotta tell you, I was all for some of that structure and some of those, built out areas. This is a nice building. It just needs some color and it needs some paint. And I think we could easily cut that in half. I think, and I'm gonna let you speak, but I think 250 would be a easy number that we could get some renditions from some local, paint vendors and see what we can come up with.
We're talking 250 for just the exterior.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, well, right now it's at almost probably when it's all said and done, about 600.
Okay.
So I would say 200 to 250. That's my opinion. I don't know what the rest of you believe. I know Jasper chairs, so.
Yeah, I think
I know you've done a little research too.
It'd be helpful just to give some direction on that committee, exactly what the board is looking for out of the exterior package. Because the discussion was during the committee that the amount that those panels, the exterior was going to cost. And it was more of an aesthetic, not a structural change to the building. There were things that need to be done, tuck pointing, sealing, things of that nature for the building. What I understood from the meeting from both the MPD and Safer. So I think what we need as the board here is to give that committee some direction on exactly what we'd like to get done to the exterior of the building. And it sounds like right now, because we have the second round of bids, idea what the specs would be. It sounds like really what we need to do is tuck pointing, repair the exterior lock. Make sure that we have a good prime coat and make sure we have minimum mil rating on the exterior. I know there's some issues with the exterior. Yeah, so, and then it did sound like we were gonna move away from lettering on the building, possibly going toward a monument sign, but putting EMPD and Safer logo up on the building as far as signage. So it sounds like what we need is a paint package that includes tuck pointing, take care of the building, and then a sign package with 2 logos and a monument sign with a visual reader, an LED reader, much like we have out here.
So
Yeah, I know that was one of the comments, yeah.
Yeah,
Just to have
You want to just, somebody want to make a motion to it not to exceed?
Jasper,
Yes, sir.
is that one layer coat or two coat paint on it?
Well, there was some discussion there because what we don't want is for them to prime it and then shellac it. So that layer runs. I would prefer a prime and two coats with a minimum mill. That's my discussion that we had, my understanding.
No, I think that's a good idea. That's, if we want to last, that's what we should do.
I agree.
If we just want it for 5 years or something like that, then we can put one coat on it and walk. That's wasting money.
And I agree. And there was some things that was done, that were done, not that long ago, regarding the drainage and everything else that was, done in the building to seal some of those areas up. So as far as I understand, there's no leaking, but we do have a follow-up meeting. So I guess my committee, would just like clear direction on what the board wants to move toward. And then obviously the budget for it. So we can continue forward with it.
I got one more.
No, I was just gonna make.
Do we want to rope in any improvements on the interior of the building with this, or is this solely exterior?
The interior is a separate.
Separate.
You're gonna continue with that.
Okay.
That can happen.
I just wasn't sure if we wanted to do this all in one package or if we want to split it up.
I see, sir.
Well, yeah, and then I think we'd keep it separate because the people that are gonna be doing the painting and whatnot, the signage and the exterior are not gonna be the same people that will handle the interior. That's just my thought.
So some of this stuff is kind of a slow moving project, right? If we make a design, then we've got to send it out to bid and an architect and all this other stuff. These folks have been waiting for a long time to have their building at least not have peeling paint or have paint on it. They do a great service for our community. I think we owe them nothing less than at least get the paint portion of it done. And if we make a decision later to add exterior panels or do with something, and if that's the not to exceed 300,000 or whatever that number is, I'm totally fine with that. But I would like whatever motion that's made tonight to include it's painted, tuck pointed and sealed by the end of 23, the 23 buildings.
Yeah, it's gotta be done by fall. Yeah.
Put exterior panels on it. That takes next year. That's fine. That can go over fresh paint.
I move to direct the Public Safety Ad Hoc Committee to go out for bids for exterior designs on the project for the dollar amount not to exceed $300,000.
Okay, we have a second, Ermeling. So we have a motion by Cronin, a second by Ermeling. And now on discussion, go ahead.
I think the architect should specify how he wants two quotes.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that quote has the two quote has a lot of meaning to a lot of a guy.
Right, absolutely.
It goes this way and this way, that's a two quote.
But now we can go forward without having to come back for a payment. Okay. All right, any more in discussion?
Is there still lighting going behind the signage?
There could be some
There
backlighting
could be some backlighting
on the shields.
The logos that are going up the building. I think that would look sharp. I
I
think,
talked about maybe even a light that come up and then shoot down at it, but maybe some backlighting would be kind of cool. Backlighting.
right, as far as I understand it, the priority now is gonna be, because we did receive several bids for the painting. So we have a pretty good idea of who to reach out to get a second round on that one. So,
There'll be a lot more discussion, but like you could backlight, safer in red and backlight PD in blue. And then have some lights hitting the shields. I think the shields are awesome. I think Safer's is, I can't believe it's that nice. The EMPD one is phenomenal. And maybe even look at something, we have that green one out there that would need to go. Maybe if there's enough there that they could have some kind of a lighted, maybe a message, about, not burning, not stuff like that. So,
Well, there was also talk of the two pillars, like dividing the
right.
buildings and the blue and the red and then having those.
And they could do that in paint. So they could do some wild stuff in paint, up and down, some vertical, just to kind of give a little essence, a little bit of something to the safer side. So, John, you got your work on for you. So good. Any more discussion?
I'm just glad to see that we're looking
Moving
at a
forward,
lesser
yeah.
cost.
Oh, me
to
too,
this
big
whole
time.
thing.
And I was for it, but at 600,000, I'm not. Yeah, I know you weren't.
Not that I didn't want it
No,
done,
I
I
know.
didn't want it done for that price.
All right, so hearing no more discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Number 43, discussion and or action on administrative recruitment announcement.
Yeah.
It's just a
Just,
card holder.
my impression was you wanted to see it.
Yep.
Where this gets out.
Yep.
On the street, so to speak.
Okay.
We'll be putting a ad up at the league website, CMA.
Yep.
And other sites, I suppose, where we might, find, possible candidates, and the recruitment ad's gonna be tied to our website. Which I know there's been a lot of discussion about lately, so. That's where people will find it.
What are you, I'm sorry, when are you planning on putting it out?
Pardon?
When are you planning on putting it out?
Well, I guess maybe the question is for the board, when do they want to receive applications? Deadline, I put in here, I guess maybe the end of May.
I would think so.
Pick a different date.
Was HR gonna talk about this one more time?
We reviewed this at the last meeting that we had. I reviewed the packet that the administrator has here.
I say let's go. My opinion. Okay.
So we'll probably give it to the end of May.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let's, some treats here. We'll have more for staff as we go, but if you could keep one, and that's the last one, the gym. Let's go.
When you make a motion on that, Mark,
What?
just a motion to.
Oh, sure.
Make a motion to approve
No more discussion.
administrator recruitment
Yeah,
announcement.
looking for motion then,
Motion to approve.
second by Pinsel.
I'm sorry, do we put a date on that to get it out immediately? or-
I'd say immediately.
Well, it's going out immediately. They're gonna give it till the end of May to get.
I see, gotcha.
Yep.
Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Pam, you have one, right? And I'll have the rest. I only have so many here for staff and that. We'll get that over there. Why don't you send one Jen there, okay? So, this is the appointment, of, appointments, committee and commissions. So you'll see some changes. I did take up the community development authority with not even meeting in the last several years. But Jim Pinasalt is chair and Steve Cronin is vice. The remaining citizens are staying on. Commissioner of Weeds normally goes to the new trustee, but I'm holding on to Commissioner of Weeds. Let's see, CWEBRLF. Can you let me know what that means, maybe?
You went revolving loan funds.
I'm sorry. Oh, revolving loan fund, yes, okay.
You went.
Remains the same with Keith and Jessica. CVB, Tim White is extremely happy with Hussein Zagami, and he will stay on there as our Weston, Village of Weston. And Yi Lang Zong is at large, so he really doesn't have to be on here. He's not part of Weston. The actual CVB actually promotes him to that at large, so he serves with all the communities that the CVB is part of. So technically, he can come off of there, and Hussein would stay on with the CVB. Everest Metro Joint Finance, a little bit of change here. I will remain as president on there. Jim Pinasalt is on there, added on there, and Jasper Hardinger. Everest Metro Police Commission stays the same with John Evans, Ryan Simmons, and Dave Eisenreich. Extraterritorial Zoning Committee stays the same. Let's see, fence viewers, my buddy Barb Ermeling and I are the fence people. We handle that. Finance, we're bringing Barb Ermeling back to finance, and I am going to be the vice chair on there. Dave Deason, Dave Gemfield, and Yi Lang Zong is the three citizen members. Human Resources, Jasper Hardinger will chair, and Jamie will vice chair, and Linda Hackbarth, Mickey Dirks Luby, Robin Haig, Steve Minell, and Jay Arndt will fill out all 7 members on the HR committee. Joint Review Board, I believe, stays the same. I think the only question I have is Bob Bender.
I thought he was moved out of the area.
He did move, so I will start looking right there.
So that position, actually, we, as the village, have to
Yep.
give it to the JRB and they vote on it. So
Okay, well, let's do
that's
that.
kind of a weird
So
little.
do we give names to them, or do they just find them?
The way we did it, we found Bob.
Okay.
And then he just has to be accepted by them at their next.
So it's a placeholder, there's the trustee and then the president. And then NTC has a placeholder, and the county has a placeholder, and DC Everest has a placeholder, correct?
Correct.
So it's whoever they want to put on.
Yep.
Okay.
You could put on one of the citizen members of the finance.
Right, that too, okay, and then let them vote, okay. Metro Planning Organization, stays the same. I think, yeah, I don't know if I'm one, I think Michael's actually number one, but we'll let that go. The DevCo, we're getting a lot of heat from the DevCo, Fred Schaefer, I think is the chair from Red Mountain, he'd like to have somebody attend. I think he's trying to extort money. So I'll try to get there. I think that's Tuesday evenings. Park and Rec, change in Park and Rec. Jamie Weiland will be the chair. Barb Ermeling will be the vice. And Katrina and Clark, Roger Easker and Dino Corbino are staying on. That's actually the one that we had quite a attention on. A lot of people wanted to jump on Park and Rec. Planning Commission, Steve Cronin remains as chair, Jim Pincinel as vice. Joe Jordan as Roy Mumper, Gary Garnt, Dave Deason, who was an alternate, is on now, and Travis Huffman is the 7th commissioner. And I think the alternates can go away. And we don't want to get into, as Jen said, we don't want to get into 4 trustees on there, but if there is a trustee in the room, they could fill a vacant spot. It's a little difficult to get a citizen to sit through all those meetings. I know the pay is nothing, but you know, it's, you're not voting, you're not getting really a whole lot yet. You have to kind of stay abreast of what planning is doing. And I think we'll give this a try and see, but I think we always have the option of going to alternates again too. I attend that quite a bit. I know Hussein does a lot too, and others do. So we could easily jump in as an extra if somebody doesn't make it. Public Works and Utility Committee, Hussein does a great job there. He remains as chair, and Jasper Hardinger is vice chair. Tom, Roy, and Louis are all staying on. They enjoy that committee. Safer Board of Directors remains the same with Steve Cronin and Mark Maloney. Safer Fire Commission remains the same. Gene Jackin and Scott Tatro said he'd serve more. Tourism, I think the chair, vice, and secretary get elected by the commission. But John Cleaver is our hotel rep. Dave Gemwell, citizen, Dino Corvino. I would be on because of finance, and Barb would be on because of finance, correct? I believe. So Barb is the chair, so she'd be on top there. Zoning Board of Appeals stays the same, except we filled the vacancy with Robert Gascoigne, and local village resident on Schofield City Water. Over on Ross, I learned that the other day. I did not know that. But now we have a full one there. We probably need some phone numbers, and I think Jen, you said several times that has not met in a long time. We probably should do a little check to see who's still here, and certainly not last, but last, board vice president. I'm nominating Hussein Zagami. So with that, looking for a motion to approve or discuss or cry about or whatever.
Just a question for Tourism Commission, you can only be on that committee if you're on finance. Is that my?
Is that correct or not? I thought so. Am I
I have
wrong?
to read the ordinance. I don't know often.
I thought finance always followed over there. If I'm wrong there, somebody's got to let me know. So maybe if somebody,
And could I be on there as a citizen as well, or no?
I don't think so. You can certainly be there like I am, and I'm pretty vocal. I'm very vocal at the tourism meeting, so. You know, actually, I'm very vocal. Can we just check that out? I mean, if you want to be on there, I would certainly give my spot up. I've got plenty to do because I come to that meeting anyway. And usually the chairman lets me, or chairperson lets me talk, so I would give mine up if that's okay. I know I did that last time too. I know I moved Barb into a couple different spots. I came out of planning and I put Barb on, or I think Hussein maybe, and then I put Barb on too. But Jen is a little concerned with the amount of people I'm planning that we want to just keep it to 2. Yeah, I know it is a little too many. But so if somebody makes this motion to approve this, just with the question on tourism, that I will back out, and then Jamie Weiland would be another trustee under with Barb.
And removing Bob Bender.
Bob Bender has to, we have to, yeah, I know he's gone. Yeah, we'll have to get a citizen on there and get that between the joint.
But you can, like I said, you could use one of the people.
You could or could not?
Could, because that's what Bob was.
Oh, yeah.
Finance
Oh,
and
Oh, but a citizen, you mean?
Yes.
Jen, I think I might have asked this before. What is the CDA? When does the CDA even meet? I don't know if that committee's ever met. since-
They used to meet a lot.
They used to meet a lot, but then the ordinance changed to where the
planning.
TIFs went through planning instead.
Yeah,
So
Husheng
then it
was,
went back to not meeting.
Husheng was.
So is there any reason that that committee would have to?
They have to stay because of the, there's certain bonds that are.
Yeah, we
still
have
on.
CDA revenue bonds and we need to keep the CDA around until those bonds are paid up.
You know when those close?
When the TIF closes.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
We'll let you know when you have to show up.
All right,
Is that fair?
that's fair. I just thought I'd ask.
Say for example, we want to close the TIF and call the bonds early. I will need to get the CDA together to call bonds.
Okay.
So that's the purpose of that.
I mean, the other four, well, Dave Gemel's on several committees, but Michelle, Todd and Stephen, Steph, they're around. I mean, they're here and I'm pretty confident that they are still available for this committee or authority. Any questions? Any concerns?
We were looking at it and it did not specify. It basically says all members except for the Wisconsin hotel and motel industry rep shall be residents of the village of Weston. It doesn't say anything where there's board members.
On where? What?
For the tourism commission,
Oh, okay. So tourism is, I'm sorry, I was up on the CDA side. So you're saying that,
it does not have to be finance committee members.
oh, it does not? Okay.
There's nothing in there that says that.
Well, tough. I'm putting Barb on there and I'm putting me on there and I'll pull myself off and I'll put Jamie on. I'm just being a snot by saying tough. But I think Jasper likes it too much, to be honest. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 5 is the correct number for that? For tourism?
5 members, yes.
What's anybody's thoughts?
Are you giving that to Jamie?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll be
I'm
fine.
fine with
I
that.
mean, anybody, if you would have spoke up earlier, I would have given it to you.
I can't,
Yeah, okay, cause
too much conflict.
probably so. Got a lot of conflict in my life. I'll bow. Anybody's, what's everybody's pleasure, or what do you want to think, or should I leave the room? You have to prove it.
Make a motion to approve the committee, commission, board appointments, assignments, and nominations as presented, with the exception of finding a replacement for Bob Bender on the Joint Review Board, and replacing Mark Maloney in the Tourism Commission with Trustee Wild.
I'll second.
We have a motion to approve by Pincinel and a second by Hardinger. Any more on the discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so carried. Just a little thought here, on the vice president, there are some specific duties for the vice president. But if the president is not in attendance, it actually, right? It actually can go to the longest serving continuous trustee. That's the only one thing or not? Did you look that up?
Yeah, I tried to find it.
Lauren had us in circles on that. And
That
Should
was,
have talked about it.
yeah. So that would be the,
We created you, this board, I believe, created well, I know they created the vice president role, right? It was
Nope.
never,
not me,
never existed.
before 18.
Yeah, probably before you.
Okay, before 18.
because I was going to go on,
Oh, okay.
and they had some concern because there was a board member that did not attend meetings.
Oh, yeah,
unless-
I remember that. Yep.
Okay,
Yep, yep.
and so what we did is we let the board appoint the person that could chair the meeting,
Got it. Okay.
so that
So in your thoughts, is Husheng chairing when I'm gone, or are you?
he can, but I've got to sign all the papers.
No, he'd be vice. Vice
Yes,
signs
but-
papers.
I think it's something about the standing oldest, that's the,
Yeah, well, why don't we look at that? But
yeah, look at
I-
it, but
I-
that was reasons that
Yeah.
we've stumbled, but it was, the reason for it was that there was someone that was conducting the meeting, not just someone you're grabbing or that was saying,
My recollection when Wally was still here as president is that the vice has some duties if the president is not here. But but not able to run. If the longest serving continuous trustee wants to chair the meeting, then that's up to them. So what, why don't we just do a little homework on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, in
So-
the handbook, you gave- the handbook, it says in the absence of the president, the senior trustee shall call the meeting to order. And the trustees shall elect one of their number president. And the trustees shall elect one of their number president pro.
So there's a different one on,
Oh,
in the
that's another
ordinance
one.
under board powers. Under the powers section, it says temporarily incapacitated, the board will appoint a vice president who will discharge the duties of the president if they are temporarily incapacitated with physical or mental disability.
That could be very close. I think we'd be very
So
prudent
that's
to
with the
have a
ordinance.
vice president then. Okay.
What was the date of the amendment in there?
Is-
2015.
So that's not the 34 pages from Lauren, right?
No, this is the actual one that's out on the municipal code.
So I think it's prudent to have a vice president. We're
That
good?
was- That was the reason.
Yep. All right, there we are. So I think we're okay. Any more in the discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. 45, discussion and or action on peer communities for PAA compensation study.
So there's a table in your packet that has some communities highlighted that are recommended for pairing positions, duties, compensation for the department directors.
Is this here? This will be at HR.
Well,
Why would this be here?
ultimately it'll come here. If you want to.
I know, but HR's got to grab this first. We're ahead of the cart. We've got some extremely professional HR people, and I think they should have the first stab at this. I thought we
Didn't we
talked about this.
discuss this at HR?
I thought we did too.
I shouldn't say we, but you.
I don't think this belongs
You
here.
didn't have the peer communities at the time.
Yeah, but it goes to them. There's nothing, we shouldn't be discussing it. We shouldn't be having any action on it before they look at this.
So then I guess you want to just refer to HR.
Yes. Yeah. If that's.
Wasn't this a recommendation from HR?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Yeah, so
They didn't have the names of the communities at the time that we.
Yeah, but it's not supposed to come here. The recommendation was it was gonna go back to HR and they were gonna handle that. So we misstepped enough here. I don't think we should keep trying to stab this down at this.
Comparison.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's gotta go back to HR.
Yeah, it's gotta go back to HR. So what do we have to do to finish this? Push it
Motion
back?
to refer this peer communities for PAA commission study back to HR.
By Ermeling,
Second.
second by Wyland. Any more in discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. So that's gotta get to the HR committee. 46, discussion and or action on replacement of park signage. Sean, this you?
That's me. So in my request, I went through basically the process of what we did. The second set of quotes was for February. Took it to the Park and Rec Committee at the March meeting. They recommend awarding it to Sign Forge for the 18,840 versus the 28,787 request we got from Graphic House.
Is that funding coming out of tourism by chance?
It is, no, it actually is currently a CIP project. If there was a thought to fund some of it with tourism, there's certain parks that could probably be considered, but like our local neighborhood parks that don't draw in tourism,
Yeah.
I don't think would qualify. Kennedy obviously would qualify. If it was a launch,
Yep.
that would qualify, but like our neighborhood parks like Robinwood, we're not drawing in visitors. So it really, be a limited amount of signage, like the dog park, the 2 directional signs there could be included, et cetera. So
I just, Jessica, you're lockstep with that, right? With the funding? I mean, there was a lot awarded last night and I just want to make sure that we're okay. And then we're doing those awards every quarterly, right? Technically.
So it's not coming from the village's account. It's not what it's there. So we have a fund balance in tourism that we could use, or else we use the tourism monies that are transferred to our CIP.
Okay, all right.
I just have a quick question. What's the quality of the work that this company does? I know last time we did some signs with the company that did our wayfinding signs, and it was a little better, but we also had a lot of problems.
It's not the same.
No, so this is the third company we've used for our signage projects. We started with Finishing Touch, which is the one that did the wayfinding, and I know there was some issues with that one. Graphic House did do the entryway signage, and then Signforge is a small company. Used to work, one of the principals used to work for a local sign company here in Weston. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't be familiar with them, but he did work for a sign company that's located in Weston.
There's only one in Weston.
What's that?
There's only one in Weston.
There's a couple in Weston.
Oh, is there?
You got Super Lettering, you got DNL.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was only thinking of the, okay.
And they both bid off the same spec.
Okay.
So I mean, the thickness of the sign, the mounting hardware, all the posts would be the same regardless which company was doing it.
Because that was the question I had at the park meeting. The difference in pricing, what, were they the same quality? Because, that a lot, and the park committee felt that if we were sure that they're the same sign.
Well, it can certainly happen. It certainly happens with huge garage doors, that's for sure.
Well, and the other thing is, you're talking a large sign company versus a small sign company. Obviously, the overhead costs are going to be a lot less. When you have a lot less employees, a lot less insurance, a lot of, and they, from their first quote to their second quote, they didn't hardly put anything in for like the removal and disposal signs either compared to the other one. So it's just how they're looking at it, when they quote it.
All right.
Okay, I move to approve the park sign replacement project to Signforge.
Motion by Ermeling,
Second.
second by Cronin. Any more in the discussion?
Question.
Yep.
What was that 1/4 inch cutting back to the thickness? What he's talking about?
So we started with 1/4 inch thick material, and we cut it back to 1/8 inch. We actually, when we wrote the spec for the project the first time, we used the spec that was written for the entryway and wayfinding sign project. And when I wrote it, I didn't realize that they had changed the spec and actually spec'd it at the 1/8 inch. So the stuff that was previously installed is all 1/8 inch material too.
And it's as good, it survived.
Yeah, I mean, the signs have been holding up. It's just the posts that we're struggling with on the.
They're too strong.
Yeah, so the breakaway couplings are, breaking on the metal galvanized post. That's what the initial struggle was with the wayfinding signs. So you get a straight line wind or something and it's snapping the couplings off. And so that's why you see the entryway signage, they went to the wood posts. We've had a lot less issues as far as I know with the wood post versus the galvanized metal with the breakaway couplings.
All right, thank you.
Are we still waiting on one entryway sign south of Mockmeal Park on Ross? That one looks like it's from about 1912.
Where is that, Jim?
Yeah, he's right. It's right on the curve, that wild curve.
That one just didn't get removed.
It was supposed to, yeah, but where's the entrance?
Hang on, what street?
It's S, going around that curve out there.
Ross and Kramer.
Yeah, Ross and Kramer.
I think it got moved.
We moved it. There's gonna be a new sign by the park.
It's out by Christensen's place.
Way out there?
Yeah.
Where the lime green and white ones are?
Yeah, yeah, those are on.
Notice it. Okay.
So this one just didn't get removed. This is just an old one that.
Yeah, that
Right
was
in the corner. Yeah.
People usually hit that one.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, from
Nobody's
everywhere.
hit it yet and it's still up. That's what my problem.
It is from like the 30s.
Sentimental.
That's the question.
Yeah.
Did they change the direction to the municipal center? Or it still is the old?
I don't think we've adjusted any of that.
Yeah, I think careful is still showing going east.
We could get some
Those are has to be corrected and then.
glow in the dark duct tape out there, make a new arrow.
We'll look at it, we should.
I know we're getting off topic, but on that same note, I was searching on Bing today for our
We
website and
We do
the
have a closed session that we have to get to get Christine, so I mean, just.
address for our municipal center is still coming up.
It might take a while because I've
So that
had
does
my
take a
house
while.
since 2018 and they haven't changed my.
So motion to approve?
Thought I did.
Yes,
We're talking
okay, all in
about-
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so carried. 47, discussion and or action on 2023 crack ceiling project recommendation.
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Zagami,
Second.
second by Wyland. Anything on the discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. 48, discussion and or action on 2023 GSB-88 project recommendation.
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Zagami,
Second.
second by Wyland. Any more on the discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. 49, discussion and or action on 2023 asphalt overlay project recommendation.
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Zagami,
Second.
second by Ermeling. Any more on the discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? So carried. Number 50, discussion and or action on 2023 Stone Ridge Drive project recommendation.
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Zagami,
Second.
second by Wyland. Anything on the discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. 51, discussion and or action on 2023 Schofield Avenue pavement repairs.
Move to approve.
CRX to Municipal Street recommendation. Move to approve by Zagami,
Second.
second by Hardinger. We got one for Hardinger.
This discussion about that in here.
Yep, what? Go
The
ahead.
cost of this project is how much? 199,000 something?
197, yeah.
That's the $200,000 a year expense on us for just upkeeping this road.
That's the east portion though, not the,
Doesn't matter.
not the
The
west
asset of
portion.
all-
It's still, yep.
Every year we're spending that money, east or west of. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's right. Any more in discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. 52, discussion and or action on Weston Avenue, Ryan to County Road J, construction bid results and recommendation.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Wyland,
Second.
second by Hardinger. Anything on the discussion? What?
We already bid it, talk about it at the public forum.
Yep.
Yes. That came out $1 million last time, what the estimate was.
That's awesome.
And I think it was good, but still, I think they're gonna add to it a little bit because part of the sewer and water is off of the road. And
Okay.
that is not part of the project. It's not gonna be $1 million project.
Yeah, so the sewer and water, that's gonna go up along the highway back? Is that what you're?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so they'll get bid out next year as part of that project, so. And as Husheng said, it's not gonna be $1 million.
Excellent. All right, any more in discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. 53, discussion and or action on Weston Avenue, Ryan to County Road J, engineering services recommendation.
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Zagami,
Second.
second by Wyland. Any more in discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. 54, discussion and or action on well 7 and 8, change order 4.
I think Michael should.
Yeah, I guess I'd just say it. I'd like to have a little more time to work on the third bullet point for the stormwater. I guess I actually talked to AECom and the DNR today, and I'm trying to reconvince them that the additional work isn't necessary. So I guess I just ask that the first 2 bullet points be approved. That's a deduct of 1,601 then for the project. And we'll work on the third bullet point and hopefully have a resolution for the May, right, we're in April, May meeting.
I just, along with others, we just found it odd that, you know, a month prior to this, we said no. And now it comes back with almost the same amount minus $2,000, you know, to try to recover, so.
Yeah, and I've been working on this stormwater thing since November with them. They kind of dropped it over winter, I think just because they weren't gonna do any earth moving work in winter, so.
Good job on this to get a handle on it.
Would it make sense to tell the DNR, well, we just won't pave the parking lot then?
So that's one of my questions for them is if I say we just aren't gonna pave the parking lot and then next year if it gets paved,
Yeah, I agree.
What, can we do some of that work on our own too? Do we have the time?
and so that's the other thing that, you know, If that numbers, if the work needs to be done, I'm thinking we can do that in-house for less. If we're not gonna be able to come to an agreement with the contractor, we just do it ourselves then.
It's an incredible building. I mean, we could probably Terralock it or something, so. Okay, a little sarcastic.
What's the overall?
So it's actually then a reduction in the contract by 1,601.
All right, I move to approve change order number 4. The first 2 bullet points for a deduction of $1,601.
Motion by Cronin,
Second.
second by Pincinel. On any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, so carried. Discussion and or action on the purchase and installation of new access control and video surveillance server. Is this about the parks and stuff? And we're not going on with the EMPD or what?
This is for the key card control and the camera surveillance in the building here. I kind of had a lot of updates on it on my reports, I guess, the last couple months has kind of wrestled around with trying to figure out how to do it properly. And I guess this was where we finally arrived at it. Andrew DeGroot from CEC is here also if you have any questions.
Who?
CEC, the contractor that.
And that is from where?
Green Bay area.
Yeah, Green Bay.
Same corner?
No, CEC, Communication Engineering Company.
Oh, I just wanted to say something. I got a sister-in-law that's over there at Channel 5 and she does things camera corners the bomb. They just do an excellent job. So anyway, but I'm sure you do too. Okay. So final numbers?
It was like around 21,000, should be in the packet there.
Well,
21,435.
when I try to buy something for 21,000, I tell my wife around 21, it could be 27. Yeah.
21,434 and
Oh, you're
45
close.
cents.
Okay, good.
So I have a question. I know when we did the park camera things, there was some discussion about how different areas or different departments in the village can't access cameras because we're using a whole bunch of different software.
Right.
So is it my understanding that the CEC software isn't going to be compatible with the software that we're going to be using for the cameras at the parks?
Correct. And that's one of like I said, laid out, I worked with Camera Corner Connecting Point because they're the ones doing it in the park. To do that, to make them all compatible.
Okay.
Their proposal came in at $6,000 more. The system here, there'll be accessed by, for the key cards and for the surveillance system here, the Kennedy Park. That's the one that EMPD is going to be, looking for, direct access to. Maybe John can speak for the EMPD, but I don't know if you guys are looking for direct access to our surveillance system here in this building, or if that would be beneficial for you.
Not unless there was a request from.
Right, and we can always download and export video to EMPD from this system.
So, and we've talked about this before, so I get that little white, I get something like this. This is for where I work.
Yeah.
So I ever come in here, it's gonna record, it's gonna leave a fingerprint when Maloney walks in here, when Maloney leaves. What door he comes in, what door he leaves, right?
Correct.
It's gonna happen to everybody?
Yes.
Okay, all right. When the building's open, it's one thing, but if you're in an area that's restricted or locked, it'll always record. How long will that data be saved?
The access control will be saved indefinitely. The cameras, we typically go 30 to 45 days.
Okay, that's fine. And is it on motion only?
You can set it up as motion only, yes.
But I mean, 30, 35 days, is that motion only or all constant?
It really depends on how you guys want the quality of the image. You can do continuous,
Right.
but the quality is gonna be lower in order to accommodate that 30 to 45 days. Or you can do motion only, and you have no problem hitting that 30 to 45 days. May even get longer.
Okay. And then is it mobile accessible?
It is.
But mobile takes the days down. So we're actually just putting in a system right now. And we said no to mobile because we can get on it on
A lot
our.
of our customers don't use mobile. If they got a laptop or you got a security desk, you can log into.
Just gives more time. Okay, good. That's plenty of time. 30, 35, that's plenty. So, okay. Any more thoughts? Any more discussion?
And the only thing that this $21,434.45 is used for is just key card access and on-premise security cameras, correct?
Correct.
It's not for parks, it's not for anything else.
Correct.
Just here. How many cameras are in this building?
13.
And that's separate than this, or is that part of this?
That's part of this.
How many
That's
outside?
not part of this proposal. There's 13 cameras that would go into, plug into this server.
How many outside?
I think there's 7 outside, 6.
7? Wow.
So this
I have
is
to look
just
at it.
for
I
the
have to look
server,
at
not
it.
for the cameras?
Yeah, the
The
cameras.
cards and the little poker steps. that
The
you-
camera's already installed.
Right.
That was part of the bid project for the building. The readers are all installed, so it's just basically getting the readers live, getting the cameras live and storing that data.
Okay.
And what's lead time?
Last I checked, 1 to 2 months for the server.
Okay.
It used to be a lot longer.
And service? Where are you on?
We got an office in Wausau.
Oh, okay.
I come out of Green Bay.
Okay, thank you.
Does this also run the gate for Public Works?
It does?
Gate?
Yes.
Yeah, the gate, card readers for the gate.
No, we don't have a gate, so that's pretty cool. All right, did we make a motion? Somebody remind me? No motion? So motion be in order?
I
What?
move to recommend the village board approve the proposal for access control and surveillance system, server and software package DEC for 21,434.45 using funds from.
I guess that was the option of whether you use, for wanted to use ARPA funds or CIP.
I'll go along with it.
I'll second it.
It affects everybody. So a motion by Ermeling, second by Hardinger. Any more in discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
So, nay. So no, Minnesota says no. So, all right, and next time somebody brings food, you have to bring enough for everybody. All right, so 56, discussion and or action on vacating a portion of the west end of cutoff road.
Let me take this.
Sure.
So I asked for this to put on here. There was a lot of discussion that kind of spurred from the plan commission meeting. Was that last Monday? Yep, Monday last week, regarding the development on Schofield Ave with Raleigh Lockery. There was a lot of residents in here that night that were talking about their cars speeding up and down the road using cutoff road as a way to get over to Ross and then go up into Wausau. They've got a lot of speed problems on that road. So a bunch of them had asked that we close off that road down towards the end of Cutoff Road down towards Green Heck. I spoke with Michael briefly after the meeting. Their Green Heck does own virtually, I don't know if you want to pull a map up so we can. They own quite a bit of the land down there.
Road there.
And this road passes directly through the land, all the land that Green Heck owns. So I guess I wanted to open it up for discussion with the board and see if there was any desire to vacate a portion of that. And I think if it was vacated, it would go to Green Heck, correct?
We have to go through that discontinuance process that we had been using on the Dominica Street situation.
I think it's an absolute, even the person that was selling the 40 feet is actually, for it too. It's it does make total sense to have that access go back to Schofield Avenue. So.
And I tend to agree. So the only access you would have on the cutoff road would be right where the old Family Video was and the new Caribou, is it Caribou Coffee? Yeah, Caribou Coffee.
So you'd be, cutting through the parking lot or heading right out to Schofield Avenue. But I think it makes total sense. And then if we added more to possibly what the lottery company is going to do there, it would even tend to have more people kind of taking shortcuts and, cut off road. Get it?
I guess my thought would be, I'd like to see maybe staff have some conversations with Green Heck to see, first of all, if they're in favor of this.
Yep.
And then secondly, what it's gonna cost to vacate a portion of this and where it would be recommended that we end the road.
So we're probably looking for a motion to, to continue discussions and, get it to a point that we can have some finality to it, bring it back to the board.
So it follows a different process. I mean, the board can, I don't know offhand, they can put that together for you. You guys can go through that process and it's basically just, I believe, lawyer costs, and as long as nobody comes with a petition against it,
There will be the situation where
Draft something.
one where the board initiates the
Right.
discontinuance.
We'd rather have.
It's just fee, yeah, so you can initiate it. So there's the one where they come and that's, and then there's the board initiated.
So can we do that tonight? It's not action for that.
No, because it's not on.
It's a discussion and or action on vacating a portion.
Can we hold off and maybe let me look while we're,
Sure. Sure.
I have that stuff, but.
For that after open session.
Yeah, just put
Could
it,
we notice those staff, or I mean, those residents all the way down that road? Let them know that we're going in this direction.
I think you have to notice everyone within X amount of.
there's a, yeah, I'll find all that out. But maybe you guys go and do your closed session first and then after that, we can talk about it.
Okay, so what about the businesses that reside there, that Midwest Chic Boutique and K&K auto sales?
I don't know what's in there anymore because like they said, Green Egg has started buying up all
A
of
bunch of
it.
that's been.
Green Heck owns this right now,
So I don't.
I don't think they own it.
I wouldn't know.
own this stuff.
Boutique. That might be a house,
Cycle shop. It is a house. I drove down there.
I think they do.
clothing store. That must be just somebody.
Yeah, but she could be I don't know, one of the leggings outfits or whichever. I mean, it's just people.
Well, that's why I think we need to notice everybody so that we get
I
the
agree.
feedback. Yeah.
I think there's adoption of the resolution by the board, and it goes back to plan commission for a hearing, I believe.
So,
If you can just wait until later, I'll find. what-
so let's finish this one. What, postpone, push it back to planning, wait for more
I would just,
information.
I'll bring it up later on and,
Oh, tonight yet?
yeah,
Oh, sure.
I think you guys have to get into.
Well, it's, we're doing very good, 6:16.
My question would be-
Police and fire, is there any heartburn over this?
I don't have any, I wouldn't say I have major concerns. I mean, I would prefer that it stays open, but I wouldn't. I mean, it's always nice to have streets that connect. Especially with some of the larger businesses in that area, if there's ever a larger incident, but it's not a huge concern, no.
So
What about
I
speed
just
bumps?
have a question. How were you thinking of vacating it? 'Cause it'll still, the street will still be there.
And we do have utilities through there, so we still would need some kind of utility easement.
Yeah, which usually gets done with the vacation, but.
But in essence of time here, we can move all this to down the road, right?
Move to defer action on agenda item 56.
Is this what you want, Jen, or do you want to talk about this later? Just defer to later in the meeting or to a different? Oh, you want.
You put it on the table, I think it's.
Table until later.
Table discussion on
Until-
agenda item 56 until after session.
A motion to table by Pinsnell and a second by Cronin. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. All right, at this time, we're gonna move into closed session per Wisconsin stat 19.85, parent 1, parent E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business. Whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Terms of development agreement with Project Timberwolf, Lamar Billboard Lease, Octagon Towers Lease, SBA Towers Settlement, and TIF grant application for Patron Mexican Restaurant.
I have to be excused for that portion.
Oh, okay. For the last one?
Correct.
Okay, good. We're now in closed session. Oh, we have to do a roll call.
We gotta do a motion first.
Oh, motion.
Move to
Yeah,
closed session.
motion to go to closed session per state statutes 19.85. One, parent E.
Second.
By Ermling and a second by Cronin. And roll call.
Maloney,
Yes.
Ermeling,
Aye.
Cronin,
Aye.
Feeny. Yep. Pincinel.
Wow. Naughty, naughty.
Sorry. Hardinger.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's got a bag of food and now he's taking off to get some sodas or something. I don't know.
I'll come back to Wyland.
Okay.
I was
Zagami.
just thinking the same thing.
Hussein?
Hi,
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm here.
We are now in closed session. You can stay, right? Yeah. And then Keith, we just want to make sure that that camera's off. Thank you. Thank you. Chatty Cathy tonight? What? Hey, let's go. Good job. So we have to pull him too.
Is that gentleman going to stay in?
Yes, he's staying. He's with this project. So yes on,
Roll call, Hardinger.
okay, thank you.
I couldn't hold it.
I hear you. All right, so rock and roll. Take a name. Yep. All right, so we are out of closed session and we're looking for a motion. We're actually looking for a motion only on the TIF grant application for Patron, which I can't believe it's registered, Mexican restaurant.
I move to award $10,000 in grant funding to Patron. I wasn't sure what I was gonna say, but I guess that worked.
So you're done.
I'm done.
So period.
Patron Mexican
So,
Restaurant.
a
done.
motion to grant a $10,000 application for it just said by Cronin, second by Wyland. Any more on the discussion?
Yeah, it was, what was they originally asking for? They weren't.
No, just
asking
10.
for
They were asking for
It's their first time that they.
First time. Yep, first time.
Okay. Because I would have thought there was something up to, okay.
This is to be paid upon completion based on
They have,
performance.
yeah, it's based off of the requirements.
With no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Vote carried. That's with Husheng abstaining. Correct?
Correct,
Okay,
yes.
yep, okay. I just want that listed that way.
We have to go back to item number 56.
Yep, for the.
Motion to approve, say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed? No, we're looking for a motion.
It's the
We
take
have-
from
We
the.
gotta move it forward. We have to move it forward for,
Put it back on the
Back
table.
on the table.
all right, we're looking for a motion to put it back on the table.
So moved.
I
Moved by
think,
Ermeling,
excuse me. You should make it because he made it to table. it.
okay, you're right, you're right.
And I seconded it.
I'll make a motion to take from the table,
Yeah, I think that is right.
off the table. Number 56.
I didn't realize Jim was gonna be this funny. So this is good. So I think you're doing incredible.
So the initiated by the village board, we'll have to bring back a resolution at the next meeting.
That's what Jim all said just now?
No.
Oh, okay, so Jim made a motion.
Yeah.
To take it off the table.
Take it off the table, underneath the table.
Telling you what the process is for the next time.
Who seconded it? Corona did, thank you. And that now under discussion, are we done discussing?
No.
Stand by. Oh,
So I found out what the process is.
Okay.
So what you have to do, this is initiated by the board. You have to introduce, the village must introduce a resolution declaring that since the public interest requires it, the public way is vacated and discontinued. However, the discontinuation cannot result in a landlocked parcel, so we have to make sure we're not landlocking anyone. And then from there, the village must schedule a hearing on the passage of the resolution in step 1. The hearing date must be set more than 40 days after the resolution was introduced. And it's a class 3 notice. So that would be before the village.
Notifying all property owners on that.
So there's the opportunity for, we have to do a class 3 notice. Anyone who abuts the vacated street must be provided notice that would satisfy a summons in a circuit court at least 30 days before the hearing. So anybody that's like directly right there will get that notice. And if there is written objections, then they're not holding that for you guys to discontinue.
What is that?
Basically,
Sorry.
so we have a motion, and we have a second, and we were discussing.
we have to just bring back a resolution.
We have to bring back a resolution.
Okay, so that's not referred to the plan commission first.
If you want to. It does not require it.
Does not have to.
We don't have a set, that's something that we need to put a process in.
I wouldn't waste my time with this broker, so just bring it back here.
I'm fine with that.
All right, so with no further discussion,
Do we make a motion?
Yeah,
Now we have
because
to
the
make,
first
we already made a
motion,
motion.
no, the first motion was
Supposed
to
to
take
take
it
Oh,
off
just
the
take it
table.
off the table.
Off the table.
Off the table, okay.
So the motion would have to be to direct staff to create a resolution and bring it back to the board.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Ermeling. Any more discussion?
We need to add to that to communicate with Green Hack, possible development, and if that would. and
Is that what you meant?
I would like that to be a part of the discussion, yes.
They would be notified.
That has to be because they have land, they own land down there. Yeah.
They're gonna be noticed,
So they
right?
notice.
For their idea of what's going on.
And they actually want that.
Reach out and make them
They want
aware,
that road
that's why you're getting this letter.
Yep. They want that road stopped.
So how far are you wanting me to vacate? Just the first lot?
I guess that would be a question for,
I would vacate so that the cars can't go through.
But I guess
I
I
don't
would
know where.
notify everybody on
Yeah,
that street.
yeah.
correct.
I mean, you can't put anybody, you can't landlock. You just said you can't.
Right, but how far are you wanting to, you
Making-
want to make it so that they can create some kind of a parcel of it?
That was kind of my thought, if I'm being honest.
At the lot, like, because I'm gonna need a legal description.
Like a
This is
cursor.
probably
I
gonna,
think the most
there will be
sensible
kind of
one.
a fee for,
So
we'll have to get a legal.
Is that even in Weston? Because that's kind of a wonky deal, right?
We have. it.
No, I understand where that is, but to the west, there's a goofy zigzag.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Schofield, Weston,
I think down the hill is Schofield.
So down over the hill.
that's Weston, but I think that the triangle or.
So the purple line is Weston's line. with Schofield.
Yeah, so.
Maybe we should dead end it right at that curve.
You'd have to make some kind of a cul-de-sac or something, and then you have to acquire property to make that cul-de-sac because you only have a whatever right of way right now.
Well, how are we closing
We'd have to have some kind of
I think we're just.
hammerhead turnaround, something.
I think we're just vacating. And all that is to come forward. All we have to worry about is vacating.
If we can't make it work, it doesn't matter. Like, you can't have a snowplow turn around there with just a stop sign there. and
Correct.
a barricade across, like you have to have somewhere for public works equipment to turn around. I mean, you guys are good, but they probably don't want to back up a quarter mile, right?
Yeah.
Who's got that northeast lot by the bar? 'Cause the other one's
This
Green
one?
Hack.
Green Hack.
This is Green
They
Hack.
have Green Hack on both sides?
Yeah, they bought the house in.
So it'd be
Green
Green Hack we'd have to talk to.
Hack, and then I think Green
That
Hack. just
34
bought
foot
the
6,
other one.
that is Green Hack, yes.
I think the conversation on where you would put that would probably have to happen with Green Tech, because maybe they would give us a chunk of the land.
That Cordelia LLC is what.
Yeah, so they own all three of those.
Who owns the one next to it?
This one?
Down.
This is also a Cordelia.
No, the
Okay,
one.
I tell the most stories here and I'm being quiet. I think we
Upland
need to bring
Properties.
this to a head. We're not gonna decide this right now. We are just saying we're gonna vacate this. That's it. We're not gonna decide all this tonight.
Yeah, but I think I have to have a legal description. for
Gotta
your
have something to
resolution.
notice.
Then we postpone this action to the next meeting.
Maybe that is a reason to contact. Those parcels.
This is gonna have to go forward.
See what they'd be willing to talk to us about.
If we have to define the exact vacation or.
We're not able to do that right now.
continuance, then I guess we do need to know that before we draft the
We
resolution.
need to know if the snowplow can get down.
Okay. So can we just talk to Green Tech and see if they?
Yeah,
maybe want to
we
cough up
had
any-
talked to them back when Wally was here. They were.
Wally who?
That was in the very early stages.
Oh my
Larry.
God, let's get this done.
They were
Can we move this forward,
acquiring
please? Let's go.
Just have a conversation with somebody down there as far as
Yep,
what
We're
they're.
gonna move it to a different meeting because we can't decide.
Well, then we would have to have the motion rescinded.
Yeah, because I won't have a resolution for you.
Motion to rescind? Somebody?
So I think that.
Yeah, I move to rescind my motion.
By
I will
Cronin,
rescind my
by
second.
Ermeling. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so carried. All right, now, possible action and close, terms development. Attorney referrals, hearing none. Staff referrals. Anybody want to refer staff to anybody? No,
Well, is this the one where
you are a trustee. Jennifer, you're a trustee.
Yeah, you would. When I do it with a staff referral then?
Yeah, this is where trustees tell staff if you want us to do something.
Yeah.
Put it in the file.
So, yeah, for the next meeting, could you draft something up to put a notice out to anybody in the districts qualify for a grant? Get it out to local.
I never knew what that meant.
Districts?
So you're gonna-
Both, I just called.
They both, yes, I'm sorry.
There's a
both.
piece of.
So like
that's not in.
a newsletter, and this is the companies or businesses within those that qualify. And then this is, we're gonna send out a notice to them that, hey, we have money, we'd like to give you to help develop your business or grow it or whatever the stipulations are.
Is it limited exterior, interior?
There's limits.
So whatever that is.
Yep.
Then we can just notify the owners. And then we could.
There's a
if we-
list of types of projects.
And the whole intent behind it is you bring it to us, we take a look, we're happy with that, and then if you greenlight it, you can just kick it out the next day.
I'm fine. To piggyback on that, I'd also like to then ask staff to have a discussion with Green Hack on vacating the portion of,
Yes.
Separate thing.
for a separate item.
Separate thing, separate thing.
I didn't know what staff referrals was for. Now I know.
That's what it's for.
It's to do it here instead of giving us a call or an email.
And everybody knows what you're doing.
No, it's a good thing.
I would also like to add a website, work and development. Um, Whether staff picks a person or back as an agenda item, we gotta do something on their website. And I know we're doing like some preliminary stuff, but let's get some options. Let's get.
I have a caveat to that too.
Send it.
What's your
Oh my
favorite?
God. From now on, staff referrals as a limit of 3 per meeting.
Per trustee.
Per trustee. So
So
your caveat is,
my caveat is I would like something on the homepage that lists all upcoming events in the Village of Weston. I want a calendar or not, or whatever, just not too complex, just, this is what's happening this weekend in the Village of Weston.
Like Weston events. Yes.
Yep, all that stuff that comes up there. Homepage, not I have to hyperlink and look through shit, or I have to hit something, and go somewhere else. Homepage, this is Weston. Hey, guess what's happening this weekend?
So we used to have one of those.
Right.
It's still, I think, out there. It's just that nobody sends it anymore. So
No.
back when there was actually an email address that went to Renee and Heather. And then when they were doing the Weston Wire every week,
Yeah.
people would send the events, or they'd have to go scour Facebook.
That's-
I mean, we could put out there, so it's easier if people are sending us the events, which people do, and we do put out there.
Good.
But we'd have to bring that. It was a separate calendar of events, I think, wasn't
Well,
it?
just,
Because there was a village one, like for village meetings, and then there was a current event.
Community events or something like that.
I think we ought to refer that to HR. Any more staff referrals? The homes run the bandwagon? No? Last chance. Go get them.
I'm still on that committee, aren't I?
Yep. I definitely want that to HR. So remarks from trustees. Welcome to the board,
Yeah.
Mr. Pinasol.
Thank you.
Very good. Glad to have you.
Very glad.
Any remarks from you?
Yes, so we've seen multiple projects come through in public work, in planning commission. We saw 2 of them here tonight. And other meetings with garage doors facing the road. I'm not against garage doors facing the road, but our code says we can't have garage doors facing the road.
Right, and I have some changes that are coming, so I can look at adding something for that, because I have to do some other changes for Thursday. That needs to happen for some things along Business 51 to help combine some lots and things like that. So there's a few things coming anyway, so I can look at that.
Thank you. So I was gonna scold everybody that this is a remarks only, no discussion, but I need to understand what you're talking about. Garage doors facing Schofield Avenue.
So if
It's
you
just
looked at the
roads.
request that was made earlier, there's a garage door facing Schofield Avenue in that patio project. If you look at Tynan Cellar, there's garage doors facing the road.
Yours are.
That's correct. That's
Conditional use.
prohibited by
Ah,
the zoning code.
I got it.
If you look at Tide Wash, they've got a garage door that faces the road. If we look at most any of
Is-
the CrossFit gym that has.
It's
garage doors
actually
facing the road.
listed as trying to have it so that they don't.
Is the thought, though, that it's not a garage door, that's actually, people stuff. Is the garage door actually for a vehicle? Is that the intent of what a garage door is?
Primarily for like in the industrial park, so that they got, if there, anyone was gonna have a whole bunch of garage doors, they weren't towards the main
I gotcha. Okay.
streets out there. that they kind of situated it so that the buildings, the facades
Shows.
kind of were out
Okay, I
as
got it.
showpieces.
Okay,
So,
good thought. Okay. More? Look at that. No, come on. I'm just being a little sarcastic, not that bad. Yeah. All right. Last chance? Okay. Jamie? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Jasper.
Good.
Okay. Barb?
I just want to recognize him for small business.
Hey, that's awesome.
What was that for? I didn't get it. You were
Oh,
talking.
that Jim
Got a
got
small
the
business.
small business.
Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce, yep.
Small business.
Small business of the year 23.
Good job. Yep, good job there. I hear a lot of good stuff.
I saw it. You were up there. The dress went a little too far.
I said, okay, so it's not my remark. So thank you. Shane.
I'd just like to thank you for approving the restaurant.
Yep.
Because he's, after this project for past 3 years, is not the first time he wants to do it. But this is just want to let you know, has nothing to do with this. I just figured out how much tax I'll pay over my 2 property on Schofield Avenue. $1.3 million over 20 years. Well, it's a benefit. The facility there is a nice location, but it's going to get new business in, like we talked about tonight. $400-some thousand a year tax.
That's huge.
I think that's huge.
Yep.
It's significant.
What do we get? 28%, Jessica? 31? Yeah, that's still huge. Still huge.
Yes, right now it's TIF, so it's all increment.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Shane.
Yes, sir.
Yep. And Mr. Cronin?
Barb stole my thunder, so.
Sorry about
Oh,
that.
cool. Oh, good job. Good job.
I did it.
Okay, so I have some remarks. Was there anything after me? No. So my remarks, that's enough of the sign. Is May 13th. Who's gonna be here for May 13th on the board? No, board. Yes, no? I just want to hear it right now, because I don't want to be disappointed on May 13th.
The open house,
Nobody
yeah.
shows up.
Talking
Yeah.
about the
Oh,
open house.
I'm gonna try, I'm gonna be like this, and I may need a ride, but I'll be here.
You're not here, we're not cutting the ribbon. So that's
Okay.
enough.
10 a.m.
My sister said she'd bring me, so.
Okay, so yes, May 13th is a Saturday. Yes, 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 yes.
Or if you need a
yes.
ride, call me. I'll
Yes,
pick you up.
yes. All right, if you want to call everybody the night before and find out what everybody's wearing, that's fine. We can maybe color coordinate. So they know who is us.
Hold on a second.
Do we want pins or something or? do we
Yeah,
want
don't
a
we have
name?
Weston shirts?
Yeah, I don't want to go into any t-shirts, so if you don't mind. Yeah,
No,
so
no, Weston polos.
how about a Weston Hawaiian shirt? You know? Something that- No.
Oh, yeah, we're cutting into 3 hours.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm gonna jump in with the rest of you is what I'm doing. I'm gonna elongate it now. That was my chance. So May 13th, thank you all for coming. And then 4, 5, and 6 of May is what?
Saturday sales.
4, 5, and 6 is garage sales. It's a hell day for the postal service, because they can't get to our postal stuff. That's all I have. Thank you, everybody. And
Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn by Cronin,
Second.
second by Hardinger. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So carried. Thank you all. Goodbye.
Yeah,
You have 6?